Welcome to Park Center High School for tonight's Section 8 Boys Lacrosse Championship game between the Maple Grove Crimson and the top-seeded Wayzata Trojans. Hello, everybody. I'm Alex Walker, joined by Dan Ficken, as we always are for lacrosse. And Dan, we should have a fantastic matchup tonight between these two teams. Each team both coming in with just one loss on the season. Wayzata been in the top 10 all year, and their only loss to another powerhouse, Eden Prairie.
Exactly, yeah. And again, we got the 1 and 2 seeds here, just as it should be. They did that right, looking for a big game. Both teams are fast, can control the ball. Wayzata might be a little bit bigger and stronger, but as far as offensive, defensive play, we look at a pretty even matchup here tonight.
A lot of studs on that Wayzata team. Maple Grove, despite just the one loss to undefeated Champlain Park, probably considered the underdog here tonight. What do they have to do to overcome the top-seeded Trojans? The Trojans, who, by the way, finished third in state last year.
Right. They basically, talking to Coach Wilson, he knows he's got to possess the ball. Don't let Wayzata have it. They're too strong offensively, and the more you keep it close, the better chance you have of winning. Don't let them pull away from you. And this possession is going to create some openings against a very good goalie and a defense, so they're going to dig in and try and get possession as much as they can.
How easy is that going to be tonight, considering the weather we have here? It was just downpouring. It's kind of turned into a drizzle now, but at least for the first half, it's going to be slick. It's going to be slippery out there, and what is that going to do for the team's chances?
Well, we have this wonderful invention now. It's called turf right now, which is great. We watched the first game. Not too much slippage here. Now, the ball will be a little bit heavier. The baskets will be a little bit heavier because they got wet. But overall, it isn't going to affect that too much play here because both teams are pretty skilled. I don't look at it as having a big effect at all.
Despite the one loss for Maple Grove on the year, like we said, they're considered underdogs. Can they beat Wayzata here tonight?
Anything can happen. Their goalie can get hot and have a 60% percentage rate here. If they put some stops in play, that'll give them confidence. But Wayzata's got 5 guys here they can score. You can't isolate on any of them. They have to play very even defense, keep control of the ball, and again, win face-offs and ground balls against the Trojans. Otherwise, the Trojans are going to really get on the horse and start riding them.
Should be a very good one here tonight between the Trojans and the second seed Maple Grove Crimson. It's the Section 8 Boys Lacrosse Championship game. We'll be back here from Park Center High School next here on Channel 12.
National studies show that students who participate in activities like music, sports, and drama not only have better grades and attendance, but they develop the character to handle adversity, the grace to accept defeat, and the self-confidence to start over. Take part. Get set for life.
Welcome back to Park Center High School. Just about to start, and we have started now, the Section 8 championship game, a trip to the state tournament on the line between the once-beaten Maple Grove Crimson and the once-beaten Wayzata Trojans. Trojans the number 1 seed here, and they control the ball eventually after the opening face-off. Drop it back to goalie Frank Gates, who will send it ahead.
Good
Alex
battle
Walker
so far by Crimson here, Alex. Not giving up anything to the Trojans, really making them work for it.
We talked about how much they want to try and possess the ball and make Wayzata work for everything they can. I think even the Crimson might agree that Wayzata, the more talented team, but Crimson plays some good defense, and as you said off the top, anything can happen in this game. Ball passed around the outside to Amar Batra. Batra sends it back. Now running around the outside with it. DeAndre, check that. Charlie Shermack. Shermack trying to find some room inside. Good defense that time by number 33, Jake Knutson. Ball back out at the top now. Adam Grooms, of course, just started. First quarter here in this Section 8 championship game. Now a chance for Wayzata and a save right off the bat. And that's exactly what the Crimson are looking for out of their goalie, Frank Gates.
Frank Gates came in close to a 60% save percentage during the regular season. He's had it during the section playoffs, and they're going to need him to step up. And those first early saves are big time for everybody's confidence here for the Crimson.
Gates in the net for all 14 of the Crimson's wins this year. A giveaway by Maple Grove in their own offensive end. And Wayzata's goalie, we're going to take a look at Aaron Peterson here.
Aaron Peterson, he's got a 6.16 goals against during the regular season, .624% save percentage. Really good numbers for him, and they're going to need him to step up.
Now rushing ahead with it for Wayzata is Grant Long. Long still maintaining control, looking for an opening. Being hounded by a couple of Maple Grove defenders. Eventually coughs up the ball. Good defense that time by the Crimson. Batra for Wayzata able to pick up the loose ball. And with his speed, trying to get around the corner, instead holds it back, looking for someone in the middle. Batra gets it out to Max Stecker. Back to Batra behind the net. Swings it all the way back up top. Now sent over to Grant Long. Long with a shot, and getting his stick in front of it is Gates. That was a good low shot by Long, but Gates with his second save early here, and Maple Grove picks it back up, controlled by Josh Favorite, who finally sends it back to Gates, and they'll start from there.
Well, Maple Grove, their defense not panicking, doing a good job shutting down this high-powered offense of Wayzata here, and really working hard, doing some smart plays, got it back to the goalie, and now Maple Grove's on the attack.
Coming in and taking a bouncing shot, and that one looked like it bounced off the crossbar for Max Johnson. And the Crimson almost putting the first goal on the board in this game.
I'm not sure that was Wise getting an opening, but when you get an opening that big, Alex, my gosh, you got to take the shot. Heck.
Absolutely. Kind of a nervous moment there for Wayzata's defense, normally so tight as they cough the ball over again, and now we got an odd man chance. Passed over, and the shot, and a goal! Hunter House takes it to the house for the Crimson, and they lead early 1-0 over Wayzata.
Hunter House putting it on line, letting Wayzata know they're coming here to play. The Crimson playing hard for that section champion. They have numbers here. Nice fast break. He didn't panic. He kind of faked the pass a little bit over to number 4, but he took it himself, got it on a high-low shot, and got it in the net, putting the Crimson up 1-0 here in the section championship.
And it all started with an aggressive, for lack of a better term, forecheck by the Crimson, who were able to turn the Trojans over to set up that odd man rush, leading to the first goal.
And here we go now, Alex. They won the face-off here.
Rushing ahead with it, Nate Cullen. Cullen, however, has it knocked away and still loose. Wayzata finally comes up with it. Peterson, the goalie, gets it, sends it on ahead to Brenton Redrick. Redrick sends it ahead to Batra. Batra sings it inside, shot and a goal. What a pretty play. Batra to Max Stecker, tying things up at 1.
You know, all of these attackmen and midfielders for Wayzata are basically all over 20 points. And look at a nice play here. Batra makes a nice move, picking it up, winning the ground ball, gets his head up, sees it in front, and bang, Stecker coming across here and doing a nice cut and burying it and tying up the game.
Gates stood no chance on that one. Jake Knutson stepped in to try and knock that one down, and after that, the Crimson's defense kind of fell apart, leading to that Knutson goal. And what we saw early in the game was a solid formation in front of the goalie setting up that defense, but that one was on the transition for Wayzata, where they're very dangerous. So 1-1 now with just under 8 minutes to play in this first quarter. Maple Grove now on the attack, rushing ahead with it. Tom Wolden, and a chance just misses by House, and he was not happy about that one, slamming his stick to the ground. House had a wide open net, he thought, on that one.
Looked like a little bit of hesitation there, Alex. He was kind of surprised to see that net wide open.
House, with his goal, makes it 21 on the year. Good for 5th on the Crimson. And good defense that time by the Crimson, forces the turnover. And boy, this one back and forth and back and forth.
A lot of high energy here. I'll tell you what, they've both come out hustling and bustling right off the bat. There's a lot of giddy up out there.
Sam Holland now with the ball for the Crimson. Elects to drop it back to Wolden. Holland and Wolden, the top 2 scorers, 2 of the top 3 scorers, I should say, on the team for what's a really balanced attack. 6 goal scorers between 20 and 25 goals for the Crimson. And good defense that time. Stepping in front of it was Alex Sorensen for Wayzata to snuff out the Crimson attack.
A little bit of a sloppy pass there by Sam Savanovic. And the Wayzata defender stepped up and grabbed it. Wayzata back on the attack.
It was a pretty easy takeaway, wasn't it there?
Yeah, you got to have a little more velocity on it.
Wayzata's Charlie Shermack now with the ball, running behind the net, looking for a pick from Batra. Shermack sends it ahead to Stecker, the goal scorer for Wayzata. He drops it to Ben Von Stein, all the way back out to the top to Adam Grooms, one of the captains for the Wayzata team. Grooms sends it to Batra. Batra is just going to slowly take it back behind the net. Batra, the leading goal scorer with 27 for Wayzata, tries to sneak around, looks for a player in the middle, and that one doesn't look like he ever got it off. Von Stein, that is. Elects to send it back to Grant Long, the second leading goal scorer. He whips one low and
nice
in.
Shot.
Great shot by Grant Long. Gives him 27 goals on the year, tying Batra for the lead. More importantly, giving Wayzata a 2-1 lead with 6:04 to go in this first quarter.
Well, as we were saying, Alex, both the attacks and the midfielders here for Wayzata all strong on the ball, and a nice move right here coming across, and he gets a chance to open his arms up and really get some velocity on his whole body into it, and it just beats Frank Gates down low.
So Wayzata now with the 2-1 lead and what we expect to be a back-and-forth game all day long, and the Trojans, for a second I thought they collected the face-off, but instead it's grabbed by Tom Wolden. So Wolden running ahead, drops it back. Now swung all the way back to Jake Wilson for the Crimson.
Now I was expecting to see this now, though. They'll settle it down. They didn't have numbers that time, so they used their heads, and now they're going to go into their offense. And I would imagine they're going to try and possess for a little while here.
Wilson sends it behind the net. Quick passing this time, but that one can't connect. Looking for Jack Kelly out in front. Would have had an odd angle chance at a goal. Sam Holland controlling it for the Crimson. Pulls back, a little high step in action there. A little neon Deion Sanders that time from Sam Holland. And Holland whips it. Kind of looks like let go of that one a little late. Bounced and never really was much of a threat for the goal. But it's collected by Jack Kelly, closest to the ball before it went out of bounds. So Kelly will restart the Crimson attack. And Trojans really pressure those passes out to the periphery, it seems like. And the Crimson having to really whip their passes across, leading to a couple turnovers so far. The one kind of lazy pass we saw earlier got picked off.
They really don't give you a lot of room out there. They will come out and press you and get in your face. This is where their strength comes in, and see that double team come across quick there.
Matt Savanich first to the ball, so he's going to play it back in for the Crimson. Wilson running over. He says, I'm going to take this one instead. So Jake Wilson will play it back in for the Crimson. 4.5 minutes to play here in this first quarter.
Wilson with the ball. His dad also happens to be the head coach here at Maple Grove.
That would be Gig Wilson. Terrific coach. You were telling me before the game you think that if Maple Grove, well, they certainly can play with Trojan, their best chance is because of him right there. He's a pretty outstanding coach.
Yeah, he came into this program, I think, 4 or 5 years ago, and he really turned it around and got them going. They've been contenders in the Northwest Suburban the entire time he's been there, and have always had an opportunity to go to state. I think they've been to state a couple times under his tutelage.
Wayzata, after the turnover, gets the ball back. They're able to just sneak it into the offensive zone. Pressure defense that time by Max McNellis. And Batra trying to sneak inside. Comes back out to Long. Long whips it, and that one goes high and wide right of the goal. Long scored from about that distance when he made it 2-1, but he went low and left on the goal. However, Wayzata gets it back. Max Stecker with the ball. Stecker trying to spin around his defender. Defended well, however, by Josh Favorite. Stecker drops it back to Adam Grooms. Grooms looking back at his sideline and then loses the ball as he tries to sneak around his defender. Now turns on the burners and a good sidestep and almost a chance. Looks like he caught Gates. Gates waiting a little bit after he stepped by Theo Palkert. Take a look at that.
Gets him a little move here, hesitation move, just gets a little angle there and an opening, and right there, boom, he got his arm, could get his arms out and take a good shot.
And there's a goal. Goal scored that time by Grooms, who on his second chance ends up finishing this one.
See a good look here, Batra coming out, Comes out, gets the pass out up top, coming through, and Grooms just buries it as he cuts through, beat his defender, got a little opening, and rifled it into the net for a 3-1. Sorry, 2-1. Trojan lead.
3-1.
3-1.
Right.
I was right. Yeah.
Yep. Waiting for our scoreboard to catch up, but it is 3-1. Wayzata, and boy, tough for a goalie when you get a pass from behind or the side of the net, and Wayzata just so quick getting that shot on goal. Gates didn't have much of a chance against the Groom shot that time.
Well, there's a good response by the Crimson winning that faceoff, but then they had really an unforced turnover there. They have to go back to play D.
They've had a few of those so far, just not the crispest passing from the Crimson yet. They'll have to finish a few more of those if they want to keep up with this high-powered Trojans offense. Now Grant Long carrying the ball, trying to set up the Trojans offense. Drops it back to Peter Stammers. He sends it all the way across to Logan Lindstrand. Back to Stammers. Stammers.
Setting up for the dodge. You can see the players moving over to the left.
Ball comes back to Batra behind the net. Batra gets a pick, comes around, takes a shot, and scores.
Beautiful pick set there. Just a nice set play. They were working to the left side to start out with from up top. And Stecker made a nice pick there, and Batra is quick enough that he got around. And I'll tell you what, Batra, when he lets it go, it generally goes in the net. He's not big height-wise, but boy, I'll tell you what, he's quick and he's very, very strong.
Just a junior, as you can see there, despite being the leading scorer for the Trojans, now with 28 goals on the year, and just as impressively, 26 assists as well. And Wayzata, it sounds like, calls a timeout with the 4-1 lead with 2:22 to go in the first quarter. So looking at how they got here, the number one Trojans beat Buffalo 13-8, and then in the semifinal took down Rogers 16-2. Not much of a challenge yet for Wayzata, who's up 4-1. And Maple Grove, the 2 seed in this section, defeated St. Michael Albertville 7-5. And then Anoka, they took down in overtime 7-6. They've had a couple of close games here so far. But right now, Maple Grove got off to a good start, but their defense is kind of softened up a little bit, and they haven't been able to complete some of the passes on offense I'm sure they'd like to see, and I'm sure Coach Wilson's talking to them about that right now.
Yeah, and again, getting that possession thing going on too. Some unforced turnovers that you can't afford to give up against these guys. And, you can only play defense so long. And, give your defense a rest when you get possession, work the ball around, try to get Wayzata's defense tired out a little bit and create some opportunities there.
Meanwhile, for the Trojans, got to be happy with this start, and with the type of offensive numbers they can put up. A 3-goal lead is obviously not insurmountable, but you're pretty happy with that with 2.5 to go in the first.
Well, it's like we talked to Coach Chad Hurr, the Trojans. He said what we have to do is do what we do, and that's exactly what they're doing here. Very consistent play all around, good defense, good even-handed scoring. We're seeing the scoring get spread out, and they're taking advantage of the openings and creating some nice openings in the offensive zone. So they're following their game plan right to a T right now.
Yeah, as we talked about beforehand, the Trojans, last year's third-place finisher in state, they lost to Eden Prairie in the state semifinal. And Eden Prairie, their only loss this year, although they beat the Eagles as well in a Lake Conference match. So Wayzata certainly one of the favorites. There may not be an overall favorite, but one of the favorites to win state this year. And the Crimson have their work cut out for them trying to come back in this one. Although it is still early, 2 minutes to go left in the first quarter, and the Crimson on the attack. Sam Holland with the ball. Passes it all the way across to Matt Savanich. He comes back to Holland. Looking across now to Jake Wilson. Wilson looking to run in on goal. Defended by Alex Sorensen. Back to Holland. Now Wolden with it. Wolden sends it back to Jackson Carlson. Check, that's Jack Kelly back there. Kelly looking to get around the net. Not really much room to shoot. So looking for someone to pass to and has to swing it back out to Holden.
Wayzata holding tough here, knocking down those passing lanes, not giving him any room to work with.
Holland does sneak through, and that one bounces off, and then there for the rebound is Jake Wilson. Big goal for the Crimson. Holland really made the play, and then Wilson there for the rebound. Not sure if that bounced off the goalie or off one of the posts, but either way, Wilson picks it up, scores into the wide open net, and it's 4-2 Wayzata.
I think it went off Aaron Peterson, the goalie, and just bounced funny, and Wilson picked up the rebound real quick while Peterson was out of position. See, coming from the side here. Oh, it looked like it did hit the post down low, but Wilson, on quick enough, got a stick on it and put the ball in the net before Peterson could get back in position.
Yeah, bounced out pretty hard, and Wilson, fortunate right there, right place at the right time, and had the quick enough hands to pick that ball up.
Well, that's that old adage, I'd rather be lucky than good sometimes.
And right now, the Crimson trying to get back in, but losing the ball that time was Tom Wolden. Still loose, and it looks like House is going to be able to get to it for the Crimson, and now a chance as Wayzata's defense is out of position. But Jack Kelly is going to hold things back up, bring it back to Wolden. And now House with a good spin move inside and a shot and a goal. Great individual effort there that time by Hunter House. And his second goal of the game makes it 4-3 Wayzata with 47 seconds to go in the first.
That's what I love about lacrosse, man. You can get back into a game so fast, it's crazy. Nice move here by House. Comes around, and instead of cocking and giving warning, he just takes an underhand shot real quick. And I'm not sure Peterson was ready for it, and it found the net. But good play, a good ground ball battle by the Crimson here. And over the course of the year, they won 315 ground balls compared to Wayzata's 200, and that was the key there.
And now immediately coming back down the other way is Stecker, whose shot goes just high and wide of goalie Frank Gates. Wayzata with the ball back now, and Batra controls it behind the net. Grant Long coming on now as a sub for Wayzata. Batra looking to get around the defense of Josh Favorite. Swings it back to Long, over to Jackson Carlson. Check that over to Adam Grooms. And that shot looked like knocked down in front before it got to Gates. And now a chance. Oh, what a pretty play, but losing the ball was Charlie Shermack as he tried to shoot into the wide open net. And along with the shot, Gates there for the save. And a couple good chances there for the Trojans that time. I'm sure they can't believe they didn't score as the first quarter comes to an end.
Whoa, what a nice outlet there by the goalie. I almost created an opportunity, just ran out of time there. But, boy, nice play by the goalie there for the Crimson. Frank Gates, boy, made a nice stop. And I'll tell you what, we got a tight game again.
We sure do. 4-3, the top seed Trojans lead number 2 Maple Grove at the end of the first quarter here at Park Center High School. You're watching the Section 8 Boys Lacrosse Championship game on Channel 12.
You watch Channel 12 at home. Why not on the go? Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
Back at Park Center High School for the start of the second quarter of the Section 8 Boys Lacrosse Championship game between top-seeded Wayzata and second-seed Maple Grove. The Trojans lead 4-3 after one. After 4 different players score for the Trojans, they got out to a 4-1 lead, but quick goals by Wilson and a second goal of the game by Hunter House for Maple Grove has got it back to a 1-goal game as we're ready to start the second quarter here. Alex Walker joined by Dan Ficken on Channel 12. And the face-off begins. Still not controlled by anybody yet, and finally Wayzata comes away with it. Now going right to left, the Trojans in white with the gold helmets. And the Joey Okalik with the ball here. Okalik. I knew I'd get that wrong at least once.
Well, that's right. You realized it. I'm glad you handled it, not me.
Grooms now, who already has a goal in this game. Trying to get around his defender. He puts on the Jets, takes a shot, and that one stopped again by Gates. And, boy, it's 4-3, and Gates, is, despite giving up 4 goals, has made some big shot saves so far in this game, keeping the Crimson in it.
Oh.
Bad turnover. We saw too much of that in the first quarter by Maple Grove. That's not what Gig Wilson's wanting to see out of this team.
Yeah, Tommy Wolden was kind of surprised by it. I think it was a little bit behind him and made it tough, but here come the Trojans.
Logan Lindstrand with the ball now for Wayzata. Drops it back for Long, Grant Long. with 1 goal already today. Grooms drops it back, comes around the circle to Amar Batra, who scored the 4th goal for Wayzata. Batra, nice move inside to his left, then double teamed, doesn't have a shot, double teamed again, loses the ball, and does a good job picking it back up and swings it back up to the point. Now over to Long. Wayzata trying to penetrate the defense here of Crimson, which is short up after giving up 4 consecutive goals. Grooms with it on the outside.
Looks like they're running a little bit of a box and one. They're staying on the ball carrier. Everybody else is manned up in the middle, clogging it up. So they're trying to stop those passes inside.
Craig Urquhart defending Grooms as the 1 in that box and 1. Still shadowing Grooms, not giving him anything. Grooms takes a shot anyway, and great defense that time by the Crimson, forcing a bad shot by Grooms. Wayzata gets it back, but that's what you want to see out of the defense. Stecker with the ball. Stecker being defended by Favorite. Swings it all the way back out top to Lindstrand. Lindstrand able to get around his defender, takes a low shot, and that one goes well right of the goal. And Wayzata will get it back.
Well, Maple Grove's doing what they want to do. They're keeping him to the outside and at angles, and the goalie's been good enough to, stop it or make him go wide on that. So that's the game plan.
Stecker sends it up ahead to Lindstrand. Check that, Batra. Batra with deceptive quickness and good moves. Can't quite get around McNeils. Able to sneak by someone. Now a chance for Wayzata. Shoots low and just left. Lindstrand didn't miss by much that time. Batra will start it back in for the Trojans.
Boy, Batra's so strong, isn't he? I mean, even when they double team him, look at that. Look at him force himself right to the front.
And scores.
Yeah.
Batra, what an individual effort, and a penalty as well on the play. Batra scores to make it 5-1. Take a look at this.
That's right. They're even going to hold him here a little bit, but boy, he just forces himself right through there and just breaks it open for himself and scores a goal, and the second one for the night. He's something. I tell you, you look at him and you go, boy, he's kind of small, but he's strong and quick, and he's made some really nice moves in front. He also is dishing off nice good tonight too, Alex.
Well, he is the leading assist getter for the Trojans with 26 on the year coming into the game. Next closest is Max Stecker with 21. So Batra really a do-it-all offensive force for the Trojans, and his last 2 goals have given the Trojans a 2-goal lead. And boy, if you're Maple Grove, you felt so happy shutting down the Wayzata offense on a few chances there in the first 3 minutes of this quarter. It's got to be a little frustrating to give one up after playing all that good defense.
It is, and again, unforced turnovers, and just looking at Batra, I'm not sure they're ready. They almost have to triple team him to keep him off the crease of that net. I've seen him do that a lot of times against other teams.
Like you said, he's so quick. He's very thick in his torso, but he's small. He's shifty as well. Some good defense that time by Favorite, and he's able to not quite collect the ball yet. Good battle between him and Lindstrand. Check that, Wilson. And finally, Maple Grove comes up with it, and a good pass up ahead to Craig Urquhart. And finally, Urquhart ends up with the ball that was flipped up in the air by Sam Johnson. And Maple Grove with their first offensive chance of this half, 8 minutes in. They had the one kind of bad turnover right away. And Wayzata had several chances after that, leading to the Batra goal. Now Maple Grove will set up their offense and try and get this back to a 1-goal deficit. Wilson sends it back to Holland. Holland beats his defender, fakes a pass, takes a shot, and a great save by Peterson, going low that time. And able to come back up with the ball now is Wayzata. Not yet. Ball still bouncing around. Almost every player in the zone battling for it, and it's still on the ground. Finally, penalty call, and Maple Grove is going to end up getting the ball.
Push from behind without possession, so that just gives the ball to the Crimson. The penalty called on the Trojans.
Holland will start with it. Not a lot of penalties in this game. In fact, that was the first one. There was going to be one on the Batra goal, but Batra ended up putting in, negating the penalty. So we've seen no man-up situations yet. And that was the first penalty, and we're almost midway through this second quarter. Holden with the ball for the Crimson. Tries to get around his defender. Defended well in the back by Billy Duma. Out to Kelly. Kelly drops it back to Wilson. Wilson guarded well by Sorensen. I've not said his name a couple times tonight. He's playing a good defensive game. Sneaky pass inside. Kelly can't quite pick it up. Peterson there to grab it. And a good chance that time by the Crimson, but Wayzata comes away with it. Now back on the attack.
Oh, you got to get it solid in, or Peterson's going to jump all over it. He's an aggressive and outgoing goalie. He isn't going to sit back there. You get close to his net, he's going to do whatever he can to disrupt you and disturb you. He'll come out of that crease area and get you, but when fumbles in there, he'll pick it up.
Shermack now, who right before the end of the first quarter had a chance at a wide open net, and the ball just slipped out of his netting. Otherwise, it would have made it a 5-3 at that point. Instead, we're at 5-3 after the Batra goal, the only one so far, as we're past the halfway point in this second quarter. Long with the ball. Still a fine drizzle out there on the field. Hasn't let up yet. Here's a shot, and that one bounces just left of the goal for Grooms. But Batra will pick it up and put it back in play for Wayzata. And right away, a great pass by Batra out to Stecker, and Stecker's shot goes wide, and Wayzata so good with some of those quick attacks. Crimson defense not always ready for it. Batra behind the net, looking to pass, gets it back. Now up top to Long from Shermack. Now Grooms with it.
See, this is what the Trojans can do to you. They get a lead here now, and all of a sudden they're going to start scarfing on that ball possession and ball possession. Won't take a shot until they get an opening, and generally they'll create a good one.
Long with it. Back to Grooms. Batra inside to Shermack. There's that shot, and that one might have gone off the defender favorite in front of him. But Shermack able to pick it up and retain possession for the Trojans. 5-3 Wayzata in this championship match, trying to look to go back to state for the second year in a row. And that pass knocked down by the Crimson defense, but Wayzata once again able to pick it back up and stay on offense. Grooms inside to Shermack. Shermack, and again, favorite gets in front of that one. And then does a good job getting in front of the ball, but Wayzata ends up with possession. Back to Shermack. Grooms. Long. Wayzata has been on attack for almost this entire second quarter. Batra, great pass inside, and a good stop by Gates. And another chance by Grooms. Boy, Gates coming up big again on the Stecker shot, and then Grooms misses just wide. And Gates definitely the reason they're still in this game at this point, especially with the attack Wayzata's been on. And now a shot and another save by Gates off the shot from Grant Long. Pass misses ahead, and the Crimson finally pick it up. John Wells gets knocked down. We're going to finally have our first man-up situation of the game, and it's going to be in favor of the Crimson.
You just see a hit here, and that's a cross-check in the head area. It's either going to be an illegal body check or a slash, like right there. That'll be a minute penalty, so the Crimson will get a minute with a man up. Ooh, they're talking it over. That might be a little bit more. We'll see if this turns into a non-releasable, a 2-minute non-releasable or 3-minute non-releasable.
Adam Grooms is the offender for Wayzata on this one. Let's see what they call. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Non-releasable, so
Crimson can score as many times as they want to in that 2-minute period here now.
And boy, this could be big for them. 3.5 to go in this second quarter. They've had virtually no offensive attack in this quarter, and now they get the man-up situation for 2 minutes.
Well, you're watching that other end there. Actually, when the Maple Grove defense, my legs are getting tired, my legs are getting tired, my legs are getting tired.
Yeah.
Then they get a nice break with a good save by Frank Gates. Now we'll see what they can do with this.
This will help hopefully rest those legs a little bit for Coach Wilson and his Crimson squad. Wayzata going to try and keep with the suffocating defense they've been able to deploy so far this second quarter. Working the outside right now is the Crimson offense, looking for an opening. Wilson with it. Sends it across to Max Johnson. Wilson back to Holland. Holland gets it back to Wilson. Johnson. Johnson with it again. Still haven't been able to find an opening yet as Jackson checked that Tom Wolden.
He just wasn't quite sure switching hands there, Wolden, and he backed it out nice, and that's good. Don't hesitate.
Now dropping it, but with a lack of an extra defender to get to it, Wayzata can't chase it, so Crimson retain possession. A minute gone in this man-up situation. That'll end with 1:29 left. And there's a chance inside, and a great point-blank stop by Peterson on Wilson. Huge save by Peterson that time, keeping the lead at 2.
Crimson made a nice opening there and got an opportunity, but Peterson standing up tall for his Trojans.
And the pass misses that time. Collected, however, by Johnson. Crimson, you think, have to get something on this man-up situation, at least to get it back within 1. And a great pass across to Johnson, and another good stop that time. Tracking well was Peterson, getting the stick on it just off the bounce. Maple Grove retains possession, but Peterson has been solid on this man-up situation so far. Johnson back in deep to House. He's got 2 goals already, 2 of the 3 for Maple Grove. House gets it back. 10 seconds left in this man-up situation. Wilson to Johnson. Johnson can't get the shot off. And finally, the man-up situation ends as a pass comes inside to Tom Wolden. But he can't collect it. And no goals allowed that time by the Trojans when they were a man down. And Batra now running back on the attack for Wayzata. Maple Grove not getting back. Batra with a shot and a goal! And boy, just like that, after Maple Grove couldn't really ever get a great chance, Batra comes right back in as soon as the penalty ends and makes it 6-3 Wayzata.
Just there's a 2-goal swing there, right for you, right there. Just tremendous defense by the Trojans, really clogging the middle, not giving Crimson any good looks. Couple good saves by Peterson, their goalie, and then it gets out to Batra, and he's Mr. Automatic almost. Boy, that's a killer right there.
So the last 3 Trojans goals scored by Batra, and 3 goals is the difference right now as we reach the 1-minute mark left in this first half. And Maple Grove going to have another offensive chance. Check that Wayzata. Got a whistle here. Looks like we're going to get a timeout. Wayzata with the timeout. So they want to figure out how they're going to set this up as they've got 57 seconds left to try and push the lead to 4. Wayzata, as you see, 2 state appearances so far in their history. Their last one coming last year when they finished 3rd.
And they were so close to getting in the championship game against Eden Prairie. It goes into overtime and they lose just 1 shot away. And, a couple breaks, they could have been in that championship game. And so it's kind of been a motto with them. They kind of think they can do it this year. So they're certainly on the path right now.
Meanwhile, Maple Grove looking to make their first appearance. Had a great year with just the 1 loss to undefeated Champlain Park. But Wayzata, boy, just such a tough team to go up against in the section final, and they're down by 3 right now.
Yeah, Coach Wilson, we were kind of talking about it, like every year it seems like they got to get through Wayzata. But, if you're going to win it all, you're going to have to beat the best one way or another sooner or later. So the challenge is there for them.
And Wayzata not going away anytime soon. Some of their better players, including Batra, number 29, who's got the hat trick here tonight, he's going to be back. He's a junior. So they're, like we said, not going anywhere anytime soon, except maybe to the state tournament as they've got a 3-goal lead here. Taking a look at Batra with 57 seconds left in the second quarter, and they're going to get the ball. One more potentially offensive chance to push that lead ahead.
And you're right. There's a lot of juniors on this team, so this isn't going to be the only rodeo go-around for the Trojans.
Billy Duma, junior. Ben Von Stein, just a sophomore. They certainly have their share of solid seniors, but a young team.
They got a couple freshmen coming up that are looking pretty good, too, that made varsity. They haven't played a lot, but when they get developed here over the off season, they're going to be players next year.
Grooms controlling it behind the net as we get under 30 seconds left to play in this first half. Batra, scorer of the last 3 goals, able to get a check from Grooms, who gets destroyed out in front, but a great pass by Batra, and missing wide is Stecker looking for his second goal of the game. Trojans got what they wanted there. Now down to 13 seconds left. Batra trying to get one more chance, passes back to Grooms. He misses.
Nice.
And with 8 seconds left, Maple Grove will get the ball and try and rush it ahead for one last-ditch effort to bring it within 2 before the end of the half. Instead, it looks like Favorite's just going to hang on to the ball, and they're going to settle with this 3-goal deficit. So halftime here at Park Center High School, the top-seeded Trojans looking for a return trip to state lead second seed Maple Grove 6-3. We'll be back with highlights in just a moment. You're watching the Section 8 Boys Lacrosse Championship here on Channel 12.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Halftime here at a very wet Park Center High School. Umbrellas out in full force. Thankfully, we were dry in the press box, and we've got some hot highlights for you from the first half. Maple Grove gets the scoring started after a turnover. Hunter House with the goal, giving the Crimson a 1-0 lead. Wayzata come right back, though, as Amar Batra picks up the ball, passes it to Stecker, and Max Stecker scores to tie things at 1 for the Trojans. Then Grant Long, second leading goal scorer from far out, beats Gates, the goalie. That makes it 2-1 Trojans. Later on, 4-2 Trojans, but House gets his second goal of the game. That brings it to within 4-3 at the end of the first quarter. But the second quarter is the Amar Batra show. He completes the hat trick, making it 6-3 Trojans, and that's the score right now at halftime. The top-seeded Wayzata Trojans lead the second-seed Maple Grove Crimson here at halftime of the Section 8 Boys Lacrosse Championship game. We'll be back with the third quarter coming up after this here on Channel 12 Sports.
Savings Man here with a story for you about 2 young spenders named Tommy and Sue. Their parents let them buy whatever they chose, like video games and designer clothes. As they grew older, they spent all their pay on fancy cars, houses, 2 lattes a day. They lived in the moment, never saving a dime. When they tried to retire, they'd run out of time. Working forever is Tom and Sue's fate, so choose to save now before it's too late. Visit our website to find out more, cause a happy ending's worth saving for.
Welcome back to Park Center High School as we're ready to start the second half of the Section 8 Boys Lacrosse Championship game. Wayzata leading Maple Grove 6-3. And boy, if you're the Trojans, I mean, you really don't need to change much after what was a dominating second quarter.
They really took off in the second quarter, as we were talking about, just playing their game and playing the way they do. Good, strong defense and good mobility on offense.
Meanwhile, for Maple Grove, got to feel bad after not being able to penetrate Aaron Peterson's goal on that man-up situation and giving up that Batra goal before the end of the first half. What do they got to do to get back into this one?
Well, I think they got to stay as aggressive as they were to start out with and, win the ground ball battle and cash in on their opportunities. Like you said, that man-up, boy, I tell you, it'd be a different game if they would have scored one because, remember, Batra came down and put one in the net to give them that 3-goal difference. So they got to stay aggressive and take advantage of the opportunities that are given to them.
Yeah, he scored almost immediately as soon as that was over, and now he's got the ball back for the Trojans. Way outside of the net, looking to...
And I think the minute he starts dodging toward the net, you better bring a double team on Batra, otherwise he's going to kill you.
Just like there, trying to get around, use the net as a bit of a pick, and good defense that time by Max McNeils. McNeils with looks like about a 6-inch height difference on Batra, but Batra's so quick, especially that first step, is usually able to get an advantage on players. McNeil's doing a good job that time. And now the ball comes back to Batra, able to get around McNeil, swings it out to Long with a shot and a good save by Gates. Can't control the rebound, and it's going to be picked back up by Wayzata. Unfortunate break there that time. Like you said, another ground ball win after Gates not able to control the rebound, and Shermack gets it back for Wayzata. But then he turns the ball over on the pass, and Jack Kelly will get it for Maple Grove. And Kelly now trying to get the Crimson in their offense. Fortunate break. We haven't seen Wayzata turn the ball over uncontested too many times this game, but that was a big one there.
Oh, Charlie Shermack down low at number 2 for Wayzata really worked hard to get that ball and just got away on that. And here the Crimson have a golden opportunity here. Take your time, set it up, get somebody open, and see if you can get one in on Peterson.
The next goal in this game would be a big one as Wilson tries to get in front of the net, tries to pass it back and kind of loses control of it. Wilson then loses it, but knocked out of bounds by Alex Sorensen of Wayzata. Next goal, as I said, a big one. It either means it's back to a 2-goal deficit or it's a 4-goal lead for Wayzata. Crimson controlling things, briefly got it in the middle to Matt Savanich, but he wasn't able to pull the trigger, and now Wilson's trying to save it for the Crimson, but can't before it rolls out of bounds. And Wayzata now with the ball back, another lost chance on offense for Maple Grove.
Well, Maple Grove in a little bit too tight. They got to move outside a little bit more, give themselves some room between the Wayzata defenders. If the Wayzata defenders even sniff the ball, they generally will take it away from you.
And Grooms turns the ball over that time off some good defense by Craig Urquhart. Maple Grove collects it. This is McNeil's swinging it all the way across. And good defense that time by Shermack on Jake Knutson, but Maple Grove will get the ball back. We saw some good neutral zone pressure by Maple Grove earlier in the game that led to their first goal by Hunter House. And now Wayzata applying some. Ball gets sent ahead to Holland. Holland rushing up. Passes it to House. House with 2 of the Crimson's 3 goals here tonight. Dangerous pass, and luckily to get across to Savanich.
There you go. Now, if you're going to throw it that far, put a little mustard on it. Don't let the defense have a chance to pick it up.
Holland trying to sneak his way in. Gets around a couple defenders, but a bad angle shot there, and Peterson never really tested by that one. And now
nice save there. I'll tell you, they've been talking about Maple Grove Wayzata contending for state. Well, you get a goalie like that, you have an opportunity.
Peterson, the goalie, rushing almost to center field and tosses that one over the head of Ben Von Stein, and so Maple Grove will get it back. A couple turnovers now here for Wayzata early. Hasn't led to a goal yet, but certainly Coach Herr doesn't want to see too many more of those from his Trojans.
Especially with the goalie out that far, too.
Wilson with it for Maple Grove. Right onto the field is Jack Dugan. Wilson trying to get around Billy Duma. Good defense by Duma and Adam Grooms that time. Wilson still holding it. Looking to pass behind the net, and does. Now grabbed by out front to Dugan. Dugan back to Max Johnson. Johnson looking for a chance, and he scores!
There we go.
Nice shot that time by Max Johnson, beating Peterson low and to the left. And that's just what you wanted if you were the Maple Grove Crimson.
A little ISO there for Johnson. Everybody got out of the way and moved over to the right as Johnson came down the left. And he got a good beat on it, his whole body on it, went into that lower right corner. Nice shot, nice placement. Good play by the Crimson.
So Johnson's first goal of the game and just his 7th goal of the year. It's a big one, though. Gets Maple Grove back within 2 with just under 8 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter.
And now you're face-off away from being a one goal deficit here. If you can get. Oh.
And they get the face-off.
They do.
Picked up by Craig Urquhart, bringing it into offensive zone, shadowed by Sorensen. Urquhart just drops it off for Johnson, who just scored the goal to get Maple Grove back within 6-4. And now Johnson with another chance, tripped up, no call, and behind the net, House trying to get it, loses his stick, and they're going to give Maple Grove the ball after a battle with DeAndre Brechto. And what was the call there?
Yeah, they reversed the call there.
So Maple Grove Check that. Wayzata ends up getting the ball and now goes back on the attack. Pass ahead, knocked down well by Alexander Sali. He'll come off, and Wayzata will go back on the attack.
Boy, Wayzata defense is just stingy, isn't it? My gosh.
Only 4 goals allowed so far this game, and all year long, they gave up 12 to Eden Prairie, 10 to White Bear Lake, who just made it to state in the game before this. Other than that, they did not give up double figures in goals all year. And in fact, in their last semifinal game, gave up their low total of the year, just 2 in a 16-2 blowout of Rogers. But now another unforced turnover by the Trojans, and Maple Grove with a chance to go back on attack and get this back within 1 goal. Maple Grove, as we mentioned, no slouch. Only 1 loss on the year, that a 10-5 loss back at the end of April to undefeated Champlain Park. And they've only given up double-digit goals 3 times. In a 17-12 win over Anoka, that loss to Champlain Park, and then a 15-12 win over Andover.
You know, the reason the Maple Grove's an underdog, Wayzata only gave up 6 goals a game against pretty much a late conference schedule, and a tough schedule overall. Whereas the Maple Grove is in a much bigger conference, and you got a little bit more of a spread between good and bad or weak in a conference like the Northwest Suburban.
And your Wayzata, every single game is a challenge night in and night out. As we have a penalty now, and this one's going to be called on Wayzata. Maple Grove will go back on the man-up situation. This one's going to be called on, looks like Samuel Naschenko.
1 minute for slash, I believe, is what they're going to call. Good opportunity here for Maple Grove again.
We saw in their other man-up situation towards the end of the first half, they had 2 great chances on Peterson, but he was there to make the stop both times. And a goal here would certainly be a big boost for them. As House, looking for the hat trick, has it on the outside, gets it to Holland, the leading goal scorer. Drops it back to Johnson, who scored the last Maple Grove goal. Now out to Kelly, back up to Wilson. Wilson to Holland, quick passing now by the Crimson, looking to find an opening. Good solid compact defense so far for Wayzata, though. House with it.
Those sticks are up by the Wayzata Trojans. They're just taking away all the passing lanes or opportunities here. Just doing a great job on defense.
And there's a chance inside, but again, good defense. Kelly briefly loses it and picks it back up. Back to House behind the net. House to Holland. Up to Johnson. Check that. Now Johnson with it. Johnson over to House. Collects it again as the penalty is almost up. Now to Holland. Holland can't quite get around the defender. Comes back to Wilson. Back to Johnson. Penalty ends and not a shot on goal for Maple Grove. Good defense that time, but now an opening and a goal! Oh. So after a fantastic defensive effort on the man-up situation, House finds an opening and takes it to the house for his 3rd goal of the game.
Mix up by Max Ruland and Logan Lindstrand. Just kind of ran into each other and kind of picked each other there. And I'm sorry, DeAndre Brechto, and got an opening for the Crimson. And, boy, they took advantage of it finally. Got an opening for a shot, and now we got a 1-goal game. Nice job by Hunter House there.
Boy, so after just a completely dominating second quarter, lots of mental errors, turnovers by Wayzata this quarter, and suddenly what looked like a dominating effort by the Trojans has turned into just a 1-goal lead as we've got 4.5 to go in this 3rd quarter. But now a turnover by Maple Grove, and House swinging at it, trying to keep it in bounds, and the ref's going to give the ball back to Wayzata's DeAndre Brechto, and they'll start things back up on offense. Brenton Redrick running up the sideline.
Ooh, nice speed.
And loses the ball. Great knockdown from behind by Urquhart. And another turnover, this one forced, but the Crimson with the ball back and a chance to tie. We talked before the game to Coach Herr, and he said, we just got to play our systems. We just got to play our game. And they have completely gotten away from that this quarter. And now a timeout by Maple Grove as they realize how important an offensive chance this is going to be. They want to set something up, does Coach Gig Wilson.
You know, they started out this quarter down by 3 goals, Alex, all of a sudden. Now they got an opportunity to tie this thing up. Now, total momentum change. Total momentum change here. So Gig Wilson stops this thing, say, all right, let's figure something out here. Maybe he's seen something in that tough Wayzata defense that they can exploit now. Because, boy, I tell you, it is. They have not got very many glimpses at all. Basically, it was Wayzata self-pick that got that last goal. So let's see what happens here.
Yeah, Peterson really only with 1 save so far this quarter. He hasn't been tested much, but a couple times the Crimson have been able to beat him, and one more, as you said, ties this game up. So then if you're Coach Herhert here, what are you talking to your team about after what has been a sloppy third quarter?
Stop being sloppy. You know?
Good advice.
Yeah, hello, you know. We get, you know, go back to where you were. You were possessing the ball so well in the second quarter. You were playing stingy defense, and when you got the ball in your defense zone, you broke it out and got back down to the zone and let, you know, Batra and the boys take over. And that's where they were really dominating. So they've been playing a lot more in the defensive zone. I don't think Coach Herr likes that.
So Maple Grove going to put the Crimson in the defensive zone once more now as the timeout ends and they get the ball to start things off. Back with it is Holland. Looking for an opening to bring it into the offensive zone. Gets there. Another high step. Holland with speed trying to break in, and now they're just going to set up for offense. And again, Wayzata coming way out to defend those Maple Grove offensemen. Running up with it is number 9, Wolden. Wolden slips, loses the ball. Who's going to win this ground ball? Wayzata's won a lot of them tonight, and they get this one as well. Nice defensive play there by Duma, the senior for Wayzata, and he gets the Trojans back in their offense. Batra with speed comes in. Grabbed, and a flag comes in. We're going to get a man-up situation here for Wayzata. Their first of the game as Batra was yanked, it looks like, by McNeils here on this play. You can see him with his
There's a hold right there. That's the definition of a hold in lacrosse. Max McNeil getting a little frustrated, and I can understand that. Batra's probably in their head big time. You just can't knock this kid over. So now we'll see if the Crimson can play defense here.
Well, we've seen how dangerous the Wayzata is passing when they've got 6 guys defending them. Now against 5, what can they do? Ball swung around to Long. Now to Batra. I'm sorry, there's Batra, but another unforced almost turnover. Knocked ahead by Wayzata now. Good play that time by, looks like number 20. Oh, that's Holland. Check that, Nate Cullen. But Wayzata eventually comes back up with it, but that does kill some time, and now the penalty ends. So Batra with an errant pass, another one for the Trojans, and that chance goes away quickly. However, Wayzata still on offense now with 2:15 to play in this third quarter, hanging on to a 1-goal lead. Grooms with it. Watched closely by Knutson. Grooms looking inside, trying to find Stecker, and the lane closed up quickly, and that one goes out of bounds where Batra will retrieve it and put things back in play for the Trojans. 2 minutes to play. Grooms. Long check that, loses the ball to Cullen. Still on the ground and picked up by Wayzata. Now Ben Von Stein with it. And Wayzata having all kinds of trouble holding on to the ball here. And Maple Grove, you see, out to pressure them because they know that Wayzata not very confident in their passing right now. Von Stein carrying the ball, watched closely by Palkert. Behind the net is Shermack. Gets it back out to Stecker, who throws it ahead to Long. Back to Batra. Batra was defended by McNeils. McNeils out now, so Batra's watched by Urquhart.
We see the Crimson are setting up here now. They're going to double team Batra the minute he gets in tight.
Long, who's got a great shot from outside, but getting a stick in front of that is Knutson. So Long can't throw it. Trojans almost lose the ball again, but now it's grabbed by Von Stein as we're under a minute to play. Here's a shot and a good save by Gates as Von Stein tried to open up another lead for Wayzata. Gates' pass is a little low, but it's going to be picked up by Holland, and a bad pass by Holland trying to go all the way across to Savanic. And Wayzata will get the ball again.
It was sloppy, but watch his shot. He winds up and he really gets it going. A nice save there by Frank Gates. Takes control. Bad shot selection, to be honest with you. You're up by that goal. Don't take, wasted shots hoping that it'll go in.
House with a chance, and Peterson there for the point-blank save once again. Peterson scoops up the ground ball, chased by a couple defenders. Peterson needs to get rid of it. The net wide open, and Peterson instead loses it. Savanic gets it, wide open net. Dugan with a shot and a goal!
Oh my golly gosh, critical. Thank you very much, Mr. Goalie. Please step out on us. We just love that.
And in a quarter of bad turnovers by Wayzata, the worst one leads to the tying goal for Maple Grove.
And look at the patience there. He made sure I need to get closer. Sometimes shooting at an open net like we've seen in hockey is the hardest shot in the world to make. Took his time, walked it in, took advantage of the situation, and bingo, we got a tie game here on a crucial mistake by Peterson getting way out of the net too far. If nothing else, if he gets stopped, throw it down on the other end, but get back to your net.
It looked for a second like he'd beat the double team that was on him, but Dugan knocks it away from him at the last second, picks it up, and throws it into the open net for the goal. I can't believe we're tied. Third quarter ends. Jack Dugan's 10th goal of the season. Peterson with the gaff, and the Crimson are pumped up. They've got things tied up here, 6-6 at the end of the third quarter. We'll be back with the penultimate fourth quarter of this Section 8 Championship Boys Lacrosse game here from Park Center High School on Channel 12 Sports.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Mom, can we get some ice cream? Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Back at a rowdy Park Center High School at the start of the fourth quarter. Tied up at 6 going in, and here was the play that tied things up.
Aaron Peterson getting on the run, and goalies can do this in lacrosse, but you got to understand that if you get stuck, you're going to leave an open net behind you, and here we go. Just comes out of his basket, and, of course, the Crimson jump all over it.
Batra with a chance, and that one just goes wide as Wayzata rushing onto the offensive attack quickly. But Maple Grove hustling to get to the ball. They get it back and are going back on offense. Lots of energy from the Crimson now. Batra, good defense, almost forces the turnover, and still playing good defense, knocks over the defense, but a penalty. Looks like it's going to be on Wayzata, and Maple Grove will go on the man advantage once again. And Batra, the biggest offensive threat for Wayzata, is going to be off the field.
And take a look here. He goes after him, a cross check. Takes him down. He's going to sit for a minute. That's a big loss for the Trojans on the offensive end of things, but now we'll see what the Crimson can do. They built momentum. They've gotten themselves into a tie game. Here's an opportunity to take the lead. I wonder what that'll do for a little momentum there.
Absolutely. 3 straight goals. All 3 goals in the third quarter scored by the Crimson to tie things up, and I want to correct a mistake. It was Matt Savanic who created the turnover on Peterson that led to that Dugan goal. Great play, never stopped hustling, leading to it. Now Johnson with a chance, and that one knocked down by DeAndre Brechto one of the seniors here for Wayzata. But Maple Grove wins the ground ball and stays on offense as Batra watches from the sideline, waiting to come in. And now back in is Batra, so the man-up advantage just 30 seconds. That one ends without a shot on net. Johnson, who has the ball, tried to get one, but it was knocked down by Brechto. Maple Grove, though, with the penalty ended, will retain possession and try and go for their first lead of the game since they were up 1-0 on a Hunter House goal early in the first quarter. Jack Kelly with the ball, waiting for an opening. Tries to get around Grooms. Does, looking to pass to Johnson. Johnson shot it, he scores! Samuel Johnson with his second goal of the game, and Maple Grove goes back into the lead.
Two big left-handed shots from Sam Johnson. All of a sudden, whammo jammo, man. I'm telling you, Max Johnson, wow. Watch this. He can get wound up and just rips it past Peterson. And I'm wondering right now, maybe this is getting into Peterson's head a little bit after that crucial mistake. And now all of a sudden a long shot that deep beats him.
Max Johnson came into the game with just 6 goals, but he's got 2 here tonight. The first one stopped the bleeding for Maple Grove to start the second half. The last one has given them the lead. Great pickup that time by Josh Favorite, but when he gets off the ground, loses it, and Wayzata now back on the attack. Trying to rush in here, a chance, and a big save by Gates. That time stopping Brenton Redrick, who rushed in all alone. The Crimson now trying to go back on the attack, and another penalty on Batra coming up. But first, a big save by Peterson on Holland. But Batra behind the play with a frustration penalty, and Wayzata falling apart uncharacteristically right now.
Some big gaffes here, Alex. I'll tell you what. Big thing here, though. That save that Peterson made there at the end, that was a big, he needed that. I think he was a little shook up, and he needed a save right then to get his head maybe back into it now. But mistake by Batra, but not really, because the Crimson really have not solved Wayzata's, down man defense here. They've been tremendous at it, and they've really got the Crimson on their heels with this the power play.
Crimson will try once again. This is another chance. They had one already this quarter. Couldn't capitalize. That just for 30 seconds. House trying to come in and get his 4th of the game. Peterson can't control it in front of his net. It goes across. Wayzata will get the ball back.
Man in the crease that time. Crimson in the crease, but kind of a dribble deal here. Not much of a shot. Yeah, kind of flutters out at the defense, but almost had the danger of going in there. And you can see where the Crimson player stepped into the crease there.
Maple Grove still on the man-up chance here as a slippery field causes Billy Duma to fall briefly. Peterson not going to veer too far out from his goal after that gaff at the end of the third quarter. Now Von Stein tried to get around some players. We're going to get a whistle and a timeout.
By Wayzata. Good call.
By the Trojans.
Good call.
They've certainly have some work to do, does Chad Herr and his staff, in getting these Trojans back in it. Boy, that second quarter, they just looked like they were going to run away with this thing. And Maple Grove has just owned the second half on their way to a 7-6 lead and a potential upset of the top-seeded Trojans.
Well, you know what, Alex, that's why I love this game. You're never out of this thing. You could be 5 goals down and get your way back in, or if you win a few face-offs, play some good defense, get some ground balls. Well, Crimson have battled it back. They've really had to grind, and I think part of this is they have not had an easy road through this section like we talked about. They've had close games, an overtime game against Sunoco, whom they beat during the season. So they're playing under the pressure a little bit better than Wayzata, who's not really been challenged so far. And tell you the truth, champions are made in the fourth quarter. This is where you got to show up.
Trojans, as you mentioned, played a tougher schedule during the year, but Maple Grove, with just 1 loss on the year, it's hard to call a 1-loss team an underdog, so they believe they can play with anybody, and they're showing it right now. Wayzata's Nate, check that. Grant Deacons for Wayzata running back onto the field. Trojans going to start with the ball. Adam Grooms with it.
Good timeout call by Coach Herr there. Get him settled down. Now here they got an opportunity of possession and to make this thing work. Get back into your offense again like you were before.
Now there's still a man down. Remember, Batra's still off on the penalty as Grooms loses the ball, is able to pick it back up. And Maple Grove challenging offensively, but Grooms able to get things back in front. And now Batra back on the field. Penalty ends. So another stifled Maple Grove chance by this Trojans defense, and now they're looking to tie it. Batra gets taken down from behind. We'll get another penalty on the play. And now Maple Grove has Batra hit again with an elbow. And we're going to have 2 penalties here on the Crimson.
Yep.
What an effort by Batra after the mistake leading to their last penalty.
There was one, and we're about to see another one in here. Right there.
Looks like that one was on Theo Palkert. And so Palkert, as well as, can't see the other number coming off. Looks like 14 is going to be Sam Johnson.
Well, Batra got back the 2 penalties he took in one fell swoop. Oh, man. Now the Crimson are in trouble here. Batra's back out on the field, and they're 2 men down. So, boy, I'll tell you what, it's going to come down to, how well Frank Gates can hold him in now.
Well, now it looks like Maple Grove's getting another player back on. So is it just 1 penalty? Because they've got 5 on defense now, as we just saw Craig Urquhart run back onto the field.
Or was there 2 penalties on 1 guy?
That could have been. It could have been 2 penalties. If we look back at the replay, I don't know if we'll have time to get a chance, but it looked like Palkert, I know he committed the second penalty. Oh, my.
Yeah.
1 minute for slashing, 2 minutes. So it's going to be a 2-minute
Yep.
power play. Now, are both of these releasable?
Yes.
So 1 goal by Wayzata will get Palkert back on.
Well, it'll only take, if it's in the first minute, then Palkert's still got to do the other minute. So
got it.
They actually could score 2 on this.
It's a good thing Dan Fickens here to help explain the rules of lacrosse for the rest of us meek-minded. And a shot wide that time by Stecker as Wayzata, with 8 minutes to play in this game, looking to tie it up after they had cruised to a 6-3 halftime lead. Shermack to Stecker to Long, fakes the pass to Batra, back to Stecker to Long, another fake, now to Batra. Batra sends it to Grooms. Grooms up to Shermack. Looking for an opening right now is this Trojans offense. Long with it out top. Good defense thus far by Maple Grove. Long's going to take it around the net and try and open things up, and instead the pass goes wide. And Maple Grove, ref says it was tipped by Maple Grove, so Wayzata will get the ball back and stay on offense with their man advantage.
Well, Crimson showing here, they can play some defense too, doing a nice job keeping it to the outside, really clogging that middle. Nothing in the guts at all, even if a guy's cutting through.
15 seconds left on the first of the 2 consecutive penalties to Josh Palkert. Batra with a nice fake, gets in, shoots, and Gates right there for the save. Big save once again by Frank Gates. He's come up several times today. A big reason is Gates why Maple Grove even was in this game and had the chance to come back and take the lead. Tries to pass it downfield. And finally picking up the ground ball for the Crimson is Dugan, who scored the tying goal before the end of the 3rd quarter for the Crimson. And now a man down, the Crimson trying to kill as much time as they can, running around with the ball on offense. Grooms trying to get the ball from Matt Savanich's stick. And the Crimson, Savanich pass it back to Max Johnson. And the Crimson shorthanded, able to set up on offense. And Wayzata not really pressuring them when they get out too far now. And that's just going to allow them to kill more of this Palkert penalty, which is about 10 seconds away from being complete.
Doing a nice job just being patient, running around, not getting in trouble, not getting too close to the sideline. I would expect.
Wilson with a shot and a good save that time by Gates as Wilson was able to sneak in front for the chance. Check that Peterson with the save. Aaron Peterson for Wayzata.
Okay, he's back now, so nothing easy. He's over the mistakes he made, so this will be interesting. They're going to have, Crimson have got to be patient here, make sure they create the right opening. They've got the 1-goal lead.
Under 6 minutes to go now. Maple Grove looking for the upset of number 1 seed Wayzata. The Trojans, who are looking to return to state after finishing 3rd last year after a heartbreaking semifinal loss to Eden Prairie, and a chance at a goal! Max Johnson sneaks through 4 Wayzata defenders and gets his hat trick. Maple Grove, 5.5 to play and a 2-goal lead.
Where did he come from? Oh my gosh, sometimes it's the not so well knowns in the big games that step up. You know, your 3rd line and your 4th line in hockey making the big goals. Max Johnson stepping up tonight, hat trick in the championship game of the section against one of the top teams in the state of Minnesota. Oh my gosh, what a great play on his part.
And what strength by Johnson to hang on to the ball as his stick was tied up, running in front of the net. Johnson with the 2 goals here in the 4th quarter for the Crimson that have given them this 2-goal, 8-6 lead. The penalty to Palkert is over, and the only goal scored in the 2 minutes of that penalty was by Maple Grove, who now have another chance and another goal! This one scored by Tom Walden, his 25th of the year, gives Maple Grove a 3-goal lead with 5 minutes to play. Their 6th straight goal, and Wayzata is in serious trouble now.
Look at this move, just coming in. He just went right to the middle, was not afraid. And I think Wayzata was thinking he tried to delay, and kind of take some time off the clock, and they left him wide open. That's the first time I've seen a Crimson player walk in front of the net. What a critical time to make a defensive error as bad as that one was. And oh boy, 3-goal deficit. Oh my gosh. Well, let's see how the Trojans react here, Alex.
If any team has the offensive firepower to come back from a 3-goal deficit in 5 minutes, you know it's Wayzata. And they're going to get the ball here after a quick penalty. But, boy, they've got to get something going. Could start with this man, Batra, who draws another penalty and another man-up situation. He's doing everything he can after a couple of mistakes earlier in the half to keep the Trojans' hopes alive. This penalty looks like it's going to come on Max McNellis.
All right, the gauntlet's been thrown down. Let's see what the Crimson can do on defense. This is a critical man-up situation for the Trojans. They really need to score in this one.
Holding the call on McNellis, and they've got to work quickly to score 2, do the Trojans. Long gets it inside. Grooms out in front, but they can't find him. And a shot and a goal. What a shot by Stecker. And that goal cuts it down to a 2-goal lead with 4:40 to play.
This is just a bullet. Just watch this. He gets wound up and just lets it rip. There's the difference. He didn't look like he was going to shoot. He looked like he was going to pass, and I think it fooled Gates, the goalie from Maple Grove. So big goal. Big goal by the senior here.
You're looking for your seniors. We talked about the good non-seniors like Batra and Sorensen and some of the others for Wayzata, but you need your senior leadership when you're down 3 goals with 5 minutes to play. And Stecker provided it there with that goal, and now Wayzata gets the ball back and looks to go back on the offensive attack. Ground ball, bouncing, picked up by Brenton Redrick. Redrick across to Batra. Batra tries to sneak inside. Great move, he does, and that one goes just wide left of the net. Wayzata pressuring now with just over 4 minutes to play. It looks like they might have found themselves here. Grooms just onto the field, gets the ball.
Boy, good defense by McNellis on that last one, getting a stick on Batra's stick there so he could deflect it.
Grooms' shot, his quick shot goes wide. Batra there, so he'll get the ball back and start things back up for the Trojans. Grant Long from wide, misses just left. Wayzata will get the ball back. 3:46 to play. Shermack with it. Back out to Grooms. Wayzata not afraid to take shots from the outside now as they need to get in. And that one.
But there's the rub right there, Alice. Take good shots.
I think he might have been trying to pass to Stecker in front and just missed on the connection. Stecker would have had a wide open point blank chance in front of Gates, but misses on it. Another unforced turnover, and now House sneaking through some players, and a timeout called by Maple Grove after House had broken through a couple players, and they want to make sure, Coach Wilson wants to make sure that his Crimson know what they want to do with the ball right now. 3.5 to play, clinging to a 2-goal lead after Wayzata just snapped their 6-goal scoring streak.
Oh, great timeout call by Coach Wilson there. I'll tell you what. House he had it, though. He was doing well. In fact, he had broken away. But, good time right now with 3:27 left, 2-goal lead. What are we going to do? Let's sit and talk. Both teams. But right now, Crimson, with that possession, that is so critical in this game. And they basically can run the clock out right now. If they play smart, don't get in trouble. I would expect Wayzata now, as they're going to start setting double teams. Every time a ball carrier gets close, 2 Trojans are going to come after him. And it's going to be up to the Crimson to get clear and get to the open guy. Wherever that slide comes from, where the second guy comes, that's where the open guys are going to have to get it to him and keep moving it around. But I would expect now Wayzata is going to start double teaming and coming after the ball carrier quickly.
Which means Peterson is going to need to be extra strong in net. He's made some great saves this game, trying to keep the opponent under 10 for the 13th time this year. Maple Grove now, you talked about slowing things down. Boy, that adrenaline going back and forth after they had the ball on offense. And when you're a high school kid, you're very susceptible to that adrenaline. So now Jack Kelly and the Crimson going to try and slow things down outside. And you talk about it. Look at the pressure coming from Wayzata now. Trying to create something, and the Crimson just patient. Walden, who scored the last Crimson goal. Smart pass back.
No. There you go.
And now Max Johnson with a shot, and that one misses, and Dan Ficken does not like that shot.
I do not like that shot. You are correct. Doggone it, you got good control of it. You don't need another goal right now.
That was Jake Wilson correction on the shot. However, Maple Grove gets it back as we're getting close to 2.5 minutes. Trying to pass it across was Walden to House, but Peterson knocks it down, picks it up, and puts the Trojans back on the attack. 2.5 now to play. Trojans get into the offensive zone. They need 2 goals to get it tied. Redrick with a shot, and that one misses just left. Boy, he's got some speed. He just hasn't been able to put it on net every time he's gotten around that edge tonight.
I'm wondering if that's a strong hand. I think maybe he might be a better left-hander.
Batra with a shot, and that one misses just high and to the left. Wayzata retains possession. 2:10 to play, and we've got a whistle here. Scorer's table and the referee having a chat. The ball held by Stecker from Wayzata behind the net. And officials brief timeout, and it looks like we're about to be ready to go here. Batra now going to start play for the Trojans behind the net. Batra with a hat trick already this game.
I have no clue what that stoppage was for.
Well, somebody does. That's all that matters.
Yep.
Batra with a chance in front. Can't pull the trigger. And now a ground ball right in front of the net. The ball is going to belong to Wayzata.
Push from behind.
And Batra will bring it back out to start. Trying to hurry now. Lots of pace to Wayzata's offense as they need 2 goals to tie it.
Plenty of time. Relax. Create a shot. Don't force it. Bad pass there.
Batra went low to Long. Long couldn't collect it. Now we're going to have a penalty, though, as the Shermack was knocked down by...
No, just a push from behind without possession. So no one's coming off, but change of possession. Wayzata gets it back.
Grooms of the shot, and that one high and wide. It did tip off the stick of the goalie Gates. 1:40 to play. Wayzata fiercely on the attack right now. Pass too high from Long, looking for Von Stein. Going to be collected by Grooms, but that eats up some valuable time for the Trojans. Batra with it. Crimson watching him closely. He's still able to sneak through a couple players, but now back to Stecker. To Long. Long with a shot and a goal!
Yeah. Nice play. Got it to one of the hardest shooters on your team. He's been there all year. Grant Long's had a very, very good year this year. They set that up nice. It's the 3rd leading scorer coming in. And look at him rip it. Oh, my gosh. Nice high-low shot. And here we go. We're going to have a heck of a last minute here, Alex.
That was Grooms on the pass. Nice job finding Long. He scored his first goal of the game from farther out. And all of a sudden, Wayzata with the momentum with just over a minute to play. They need a goal to tie things up. Battle for the face-off.
Pushing behind, Maple Grove possession.
Maple Grove just needs a minute and 2 seconds to kill in order to move on to their first state tournament in program history. Pressure coming now from the defense as Favorite has it. And Wayzata gets the ball back.
Wow, what was that call? I don't know.
I was just about to ask you. I didn't see, but either way, Redrick with it now in the offensive zone. Under 50 seconds to play. Redrick breaks through and gets the ball knocked out. Otherwise, he would have been all alone on Gates. And a timeout called by Wayzata here. They need to set up this offensive chance in what's the most critical offensive possession of the game for them.
Boy, I don't know what that call was. Is it a failure to advance? I don't know. He looked like he got it in the box in time. But wow, that was a big whistle, changing possession from the Crimson over to the Trojans here now. So, but it did set up good TV drama for us now. Huh?
That's all we care about.
Oh my gosh. Yeehaw.
40 seconds to play. Let's talk about what's happened here in the second half. Maple Grove coming in down 6-3. They score 3 goals in the third to tie it up. And then the first 3 goals of the fourth to give themselves a 3-goal lead, absolutely putting the Trojans on their heels. But goals by Stecker and Long have got it back to this 9-8 game right now. And, I mean, Dan, you said before the game this is going to be a close one, and that's what we've got.
Yep. Well, I figured Maple Grove could pull their game up, but I'll tell you what, they never got down, especially when they were down by 3 goals. And like you and I saw in the second quarter, they got dominated. You know, they fought back, a good, gritty team. I like that. Now Wayzata, let's see what kind of grit, you know, they're made out of. Like I said, fourth quarter makes champions here. So we'll see what they can do. And I think that young man right there might be pretty key in this play that they've got called.
Batra, the leading goal scorer and assist getter for Wayzata on the year. He's got a hat trick tonight, has made some spectacular passes. And right now, he's hoping to help these Trojans now under 40 seconds get a tying goal, potentially sending this game to overtime. Batra with it, watched closely by McNellis. McNellis has done a good job on him in the second half.
There it
Batra's
is.
able to find Shermack, and he just misses wide and to the right of the goal. 22 seconds to play. Batra back to get it.
They had the setup. It was right there.
20 seconds to go. Batra, watched by McNellis. Batra tries to sneak in front. Gets it out. Grooms with the shot and a goal! Grooms with the fake and then the shot. And with 15 seconds left, the Trojans have tied things up. What a game.
Who's showing some grit now? Look at Batra. He got the ball. And guess what? Smart play. Gets it to his open guy who could wind up, and Grooves just lets it go into the upper corner. Tie game, setting up for overtime. Maybe.
We have 15 seconds left and a face-off to go before we find out how this one ends. Face-off controlled by the Crimson. Walden running up with it. 7 seconds. Walden's shot just goes off the goalie, Peterson. And Peterson with a fantastic dive to the end line to give the Trojans possession. With 3 seconds left, Peterson sends it all the way down. That'll be the whistle. And somehow, some way, we're going to overtime in the Section 8 championship game.
Oh, I just can't stand it. A section championship game going into overtime? My gosh. Wow. What an effort by both teams. They both dug down deep. They're finding grit, and I love that. You know, they've had nice ebbs and flows in this game. Both teams have answered the goal. It's really hard that someone's got to lose this game and their season's over, but boy, what a lacrosse game here. My gosh.
What's at stake here? The Trojans looking to return to state after finishing third last year. Maple Grove having never gone before. Both teams with just 1 loss on the year. Someone's going to leave with 2. And the first goal of this overtime is going to decide who wins this game. Lacrosse is a sudden death game. Let's take a look at the last 2 goals from Wayzata that ended up tying it up after they were down 3.
There was the big one there by Grant Long. Just ripped it good. Got them within reach and gave them some hope. And I'll tell you what, they took control of the ball. And, of course, Who gets it? Amir Batra makes a nice pass. Grooms, just nice fake, rips it. And I think he fooled Gates on that fake. I really do. And beat him. So, and remember, this was a team that was 1 goal away from going to the state championship game. Eden Prairie beat him in overtime. Maple Grove's never been there, and they played a heck of a game. But, boy, I tell you, a 3-goal lead with, 3 minutes left? And, boy, they gave up that one possession. Oh, my gosh. Wow.
Very tough to lose that one, especially in 15 seconds left, giving up the last one.
Yep.
And this is a pretty young Maple Grove team. You've got Paulkert, Favorite are seniors.
Yep.
Urquhart is a senior, Holland and Cullen, but other than that, and Wilson, lots of sophomores on this team. We saw Hunter House has got the hat trick tonight. He's just a sophomore. And so this is a young Maple Grove team.
Yeah.
What a test for them right now, and what a job Gig Wilson has to do to settle his team and say, guys, it's okay. We gave up the last 3, but now we just got to get 1, and we're headed to state.
Well, they had a tremendous opportunity. They've played with a lot of grit. They played with a lot of smarts. They didn't let adversity get in their way. They fought back. A very strong-willed team. So we're going to have a great overtime period here. I'll tell you what. Like I said, it's too bad someone has to lose this game. But
Wayzata scored the last 3 goals, and you could argue they have the momentum, but I feel like really any team could win it at this point. I mean, it's easy to say that when 1 goal will make a difference, but but really both of these teams have shown that they can do it, and Wayzata wins a very important face-off. That's number 1, Peter Stammers, getting the face-off, and a very important one is they're going to call a timeout and set up an offensive play for what they hope to be the game-winning goal that'll send them to state. You
don't think a face-off person is important there? Boy, Stammers did a great job. Fought down, gritted it out, got it in underneath him, came back and picked it up. Nice play. Huge.
Stammers, a senior midi for this Wayzata team. Doesn't get out and play much on offense or defense, but that's what he's there to do, and that was a big one that time.
Here's the deal now, too. Now, you got possession. As the Trojans, don't force it. Work it around. You've been successful offensively, obviously, with Boccia, but you've got a number of people going to score. Wait for the opening. Don't force it.
We saw a surprising number of unforced turnovers by the Trojans all throughout that second half.
Yep.
Including the one by the goalie that was forced, but that led to the Dugan goal that tied it up. But now they've got a chance to, like you said, be patient, find their opening, and they definitely have the offensive firepower to put one past Gates and send them on to state.
Well, and they've got the momentum right now. They came back from 3 goals down and got this thing into overtime. And now they have possession. So we'll see what they can do here, see what kind of patience they have.
So Long, who scored that 8th goal, is going to start with it, bring it into the offensive zone, and get the Trojans set up. Long, watched by Urquhart. Long tries to sneak in, had a chance. And
they had it. They had it.
Passed. It looked like he had Von Stein, who would have been streaking in all alone.
Yep.
Good defense that time by Urquhart to not allow him to pass the ball. So Long keeps it, gets inside Urquhart, tries to get in, but Long not quite fleet of foot enough. Instead, he gets it back out to Von Stein. Von Stein back to Long, and now to Batra. And Batra is, as he's shown tonight, the one who can sneak by a defender, get in, and either score or set up a chance for one of his teammates.
You've got the long stick McNellis on him right now, and he stayed out there with him too. They're going to keep him covered by McNellis this whole time.
Batra
loses nice
his
pick.
footing and loses the ball, and now picked up by Maple Grove. Dangerous pass back out in front, but Knutson rather able to get it to Favorite, and Favorite streaking into the offensive zone. The Crimson now with a chance, looking to go to state for the first time. Fans on their feet on the Crimson side as they get set up. Offensive players check in. Kelly with the ball for Maple Grove. Kelly, one of those sophomores we talked about.
Jack Kelly was a standout on the hockey team, probably one of the most improved players throughout the year in the Northwest Suburban Conference, bringing some smarts and sense here too, settling it down. Again, this is possession. Don't force it. Look for the opening. Try to create it. If not, send it back out again.
Holland now with it. Holland, a senior on this squad, tries to beat Long. Instead, passes it off. Now a bad pass inside from Savanic. Puts his hands on his head, and Wayzata will go back to work on offense. Grabbed and run up by Sorensen. Check that, Grooms. Grooms, who's tied it up with 15 seconds left, looking in front, and that one knocked away by Favorite as Grooms was looking for Shermack right in front. And Maple Grove gets the ball back and will go back on offense. Favorite, with a rough pass and somehow connects with Wilson.
Oh my,
That
wow.
could have been dangerous, but
They got away with one there, no question about it.
Maple Grove gets it. Dugan over to House. House, the sophomore with a hat trick tonight. Back to Max Johnson, another sophomore for this Crimson squad. 1:18 left to go in this first overtime.
And
Max-
we notice Coach Wilson has not called a timeout during any of these possessions.
He is not. Max Johnson trying to get in front. Drops it back to Dugan. Dugan in front for Savanich, and a shot, and that one goes just wide of the net. Couldn't see if Peterson perhaps got his stick on it, but Maple Grove goes to pick it up. And with a minute left in overtime, they'll start back up on offensive again. Dugan with it, also a sophomore for this Crimson squad. Dugan fakes out Brenton Redrick. Now drops it back to Wilson, being watched closely by his defender. Dugan can't handle the ball, and an unforced turnover gives Wayzata the ball back. Crucial turnover here in overtime. Peterson with it. Sends it up ahead to Redrick. Redrick with that speed gets around Savanich and into the offensive zone.
God, Redrick's been Mr. Clear here. They just give it to him, and he just blazes it up into the attack zone here.
Brenton Redrick with the burners. He's been doing it all night. Now he comes off as Wayzata sets up in their offense. Grooms with it. Under 20 seconds to go in the first overtime. Grooms takes it behind the net. Looking to set something up with 10 seconds left. Will they get a shot off? Stecker back to Grooms. Batra pointing out directions. Grooms tries to get around. Good defense. That one knocked away. Picked up by Urquhart, and we are going to double overtime. Again, sudden death in this Section 8 championship game. And really, neither team with that great offensive chance at half. Good defense, a couple unforced turnovers.
Yep.
But good defense in that one, certainly overall, by both squads.
Yeah, nobody really getting a clean look or getting an opportunity for a clean shot there, and neither goalie really having to make a big save. So both well played. Both teams played that very well in the overtime here, considering everything that's at stake.
The Maple Grove Crimson, who just ticked off all the sophomores they have on this team, really playing with a lot of poise, trying to make it to their first of, with a bunch of sophomores, what could be many trips to state. The Trojans, as we said, trying to make it back for the second year in a row, led by Batra and Long, and great play of their goalie, Aaron Peterson. Which of these teams is going to do it? The next one to score a goal will.
I'm looking to Frank Gates, who's played a really, really good game in goal for him as a sophomore. So a lot of people in key positions are young kids for Maple Grove.
Stammers, who won that first face-off of the first overtime, back out to take it for Wayzata. He's going to face off once again with Tom Wolden, Jr. for the Crimson. Big face-off here as the teams switch sides. Again, 4 minutes is the amount of time we'll play in the overtime. We went through one with no score. Will this one end in double OT? Stammers and Wolden battling. Wolden comes up with it. A big win this time for the Crimson. He brings the Maple Grove squad into their offensive set. Kelly with it. Behind the net to House. House, watched by Brechto. Back to Kelly. Looking to set themselves up offensively is Kelly from the deep corner. Kelly facing off with Samuel Neschenko. Kelly trying to get around. Looking for a shot, can't pull the trigger. Sends it back out to the point. And now comes up to Wilson. Wilson streaking in a shot, bounces off the chest of Peterson. Maple Grove gets it back though. Kelly with the rebound, and the Crimson stay on the offense.
Good creation, got it to their leading scorer in Wilson, and he got a good shot off, but nice save by Peterson.
Holland thought about taking a shot, instead drops it back to Kelly. Now, Walden trying to sneak in. Gets a couple defenders on him. Chased out there by Duma. Gets it again, though, and shoots, and that one just missed. I think he might have had Peterson beat, but it just missed the outside of the post. Maple Grove will get it back, and we're going to get a timeout here by Maple Grove as they want to set themselves up offensively.
Boy, a good move here, too. Broke the double team right there and came through and just got a nice shot, a low-high shot, trying for the upper corner.
Walden upset that he missed it, but a great chance. And now the Crimson going to retain possession with 2:42 here to go in the second overtime. And Coach Wilson trying to set up a play. Looks like his assistant's in there now trying to determine what they're going to do on offense to try and end this one.
Well, why not sit it up high to that young man named Max Johnson? He's had a heck of a game. Let him go one-on-one with a short stick, see what he can create. He's been good at hitting that net, especially high-low shot from the left-hand side.
He scored 3 of 5 goals for the Crimson at one point, including the one that put them in the lead at 7-6 and the one that extended at 8-6. And as we mentioned before, just 6 goals coming into the game, a hat trick tonight. So absolutely, why not look for the hot hand? Teams come back out onto the field. Again, the next goal ends it. The next goal will determine who makes it to the state tournament out of Section 8. And what should be a fantastic state tournament this year with a number of teams in contention for the state championship. We've got an update that Eden Prairie and Breck looking like they're going to win their sections and move on. Of course, those two certainly favorites potentially to win state. Maple Grove and Wayzata hoping to join them. The Crimson with the ball now as House chased on by Grant Deacons. House throws it back to Dugan. Dugan up ahead. Now Dugan with it back from Olden. Max Johnson, who we just talked about with the hot hand, throws it back out to Wilson. Wilson with a shot! And scores! Wilson with the goal! And the Maple Grove Crimson are headed to state for the first time in program history.
Oh, my gosh. Wow, what a night for the Crimson and Coach Gig Wilson. He's worked with the program all these years, and they finally break through and get to state, beating the perennial power Wayzata. Oh, my gosh, what a heck of a game.
And how special is this? Wilson, one of just a handful of seniors on the team, the son of Coach Gig Wilson, gets the game winner that sends the Crimson off to state. Here it is.
Nice play down lower, and he comes around and he just rips it, and I think it went off the inside heel of Peterson and into the net. I don't think it hit the other side. We'll take a close look at it here. Watch it go down low and see where it hits. Yes, he hit that corner clean. What a beautiful shot.
Right
oh, my
between
gosh.
Peterson's legs. I don't think Peterson was expecting it because you don't often expect shots from that angle with a defender between you and the net.
No, it did hit his ankle. By gosh, oh, man. Wow, big night. We got an upset here. The number 2 takes down the number 1. My gosh.
And Peterson, who had such a great year, one of the best goalies in state. Grant Long looking at tears in his eyes. Of course, he'll be back. Long is only he is a senior.
There's a sight. Dad and son. Son gives Dad a big present. Wow, what a great moment. I'm glad we were here to pick that up.
So the Crimson will head to Minnetonka High School next week to start the state tournament. We'll see if they are a seed or not. 15-1. Check, it is their record out of the Northwest Suburban Conference. The Trojans finished the year at 13-2. What a game. We'll come back with interviews from the winning Maple Grove Crimson. Maple Grove, your Section 8 champions, topping top seed Wayzata 10-9 in double overtime here on Channel 12 Sports.
Savings Man here with a story for you about 2 young spenders named Tommy and Sue. Their parents let them buy whatever they chose, like video games and designer clothes. As they grew older, they spent all their pay on fancy cars, houses, 2 lattes a day. They lived in the moment, never saving a dime. When they tried to retire, they'd run out of time. Working forever is Tom and Sue's fate, so choose to save now before it's too late. Visit our website to find out more, cause a happy ending's worth saving for.
Welcome back to Park Center High School, where the Maple Grove Crimson upend the top-seeded Wayzata Trojans 10-9 in double overtime to take home the Section 8 Boys Lacrosse Championship. I'm joined now by Frank Gates, Jake Wilson, and Max Johnson of the winning Crimson. I'm going to start with Frank, the goalie tonight. And Frank, heck of a game. Congratulations. Talk about what it took to slow down this high-powered Trojans offense.
Thank you very much. It's just up to our defense. I mean, our defense kept us in it the whole time, forcing those outside shots, and then our offense came down and put it away for us. So,
outstanding effort. You guys obviously got off to a good start, then down 6-3 going into half. Wayzata pretty much dominated that second half. What happened between then and the start of the third quarter that got you guys really off back into it and out to that lead?
We just never gave up. We just thought of it as a 0-0 game and just didn't even look at the scoreboard and played our game, and we just took what we could.
Absolutely. And your play tonight, you really made a couple of huge saves in that first half to keep your team in the game while you were being peppered. What kind of mindset did you go into this game with to help you stop that high-powered attack?
I just knew our team had our back, and if I made a mistake, that they would follow through and make a better play. But it was just up to our team, not me.
Congratulations, Frank. Great job tonight. Moving on to Max Johnson. And Max, talking about your play tonight, 6 goals on the year coming in, and in the section championship game, you get 3. What clicked?
I think it was just a great day to have a day, you know? I don't know, I shot the ball good, I took more shots than I usually do. I don't know, it's just something, me and this goalie. I scored last year on this goalie.
What a great time to do it tonight in the section championship game. Now you, along with Frank and a number of the other players on this team, a bunch of sophomores, and even though you had only one loss coming into this game, how does a team of a bunch of sophomores like this take down an experienced team like Wayzata?
Well, us sophomores have been playing together for a long time. We've been playing since we were little. I think we won the state championship in 7th, 8th grade. I think it's time to do that again, huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. Talk about some of the competition you might be facing there. What is it like now you got over this hurdle of going to state? What does it mean now to go to state, and what do you think you're going to face there?
We're going to face some good teams. I mean, Eden Prairie, White Bear Lake, I think, just took it to OPC, so they're obviously pretty good. We just got to play the way we did tonight, maybe even better.
Outstanding. Congratulations, Max. Going to bring Jake Wilson in here now. Jake, with the game-winning goal tonight, and what does it mean to be a senior, to be a captain on this team, to be playing for your dad, and now the game-winning goal to send Maple Grove to state for the first time ever?
You know, it's incredible. I mean, we've come such long ways, and I've been through it all almost with this team. I've been playing since my freshman year on this varsity team, and to now be a leader as a captain, a senior, and even the coach's son, it's just tough. You know, it's easy with these guys, though. I mean, we're such a good team. We're close. We're coming together, and we're having a great time this year.
Definitely, obviously came together at the right time as you now head to state. And talk me first through that play. What happened on that game-winning goal that sent you guys to state?
You know, we put me and Tommy Wolden. I mean, he's a great left-handed player. He took us, put us at X, and we were looking for cutters originally. But you know, I came from X, saw the open lane, and I've been pushing that pole all night, and I got the step on it this time.
How important was it for you guys to have 2 really close games, including that overtime win over Anoka in your last game, coming into an overtime game like this tonight? How did that prepare you?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. That Orono and the Anoka game were just heartbreaking wins, almost heartbreaking losses for them, but just great experience there. And it's the next part of the game. I don't even think of it as overtime anymore. It's just the next quarter. Got to get out there and play.
So now, as a senior, as the captain of this team, how do you lead these guys into state? How do you prepare them for something you've never even been to before?
You know, just hard practice. It starts in the locker room. You know, we got to listen to our coaches, go through our playbooks, know what we're doing, and mentally get ourselves ready. And then we hit the field hard, and we play like it's a game every practice.
Excellent. Well, congratulations, Jake Wilson, Frank Gates, and Max Johnson of the Section 8 champion Maple Grove Crimson. They topped the Trojans 10-9 tonight in double overtime here at Park Center High School, and they're heading to the state tournament in Minnetonka next week. For Dan Ficken and for our entire Channel 12 crew, I'm Alex Walker saying so long as the Crimson head off to state on Channel 12 Sports.